Okay, perfect. Okay, well, hopefully everyone else can hear me. It's great to have you all here. Thanks for joining me today. First of all, I want to thank you for investing in me and giving me your time. I'm Veda, and I want to introduce myself. I am a woman, and my mission is to help mankind revive the wisdom of our pristine ancient ancestors. My purpose is to guide mankind back home to our roots to live as sovereign men and women taking radical responsibility of their lives. So while you guys are all here taking radical responsibility of your lives, I know that you guys know that I'm not a lawyer. Mondo, my guest speaker today, is not a lawyer, nor do we pretend to be, nor do we ever want to be. But what we're doing today is we're not giving legal advice. We are giving free education away, and it is up to you to decide how you move forward with that education and what you want to do with that. So real quick, I want to share with all of you where you can find me. My website is betarevival.com. I'm most active on Instagram. If you don't follow me, you need to follow me on Instagram at veda.revival. And my email is info@vetarevival.com. So most people know me for my offerings, and what I do is help people have babies out of the system and raise them out of the system, specifically without a birth certificate and without a social security number. I also help people create entity so their baby can operate in commerce through a foreign trust and connect people to people like Mondo that can help their free babies get life insurance policies without uh, without a birth certificate and a social. But also one of the big things I do is help people get a passport without the birth certificate. So that's one of my main things. And I really wanted to share a quick testimonial with you guys really quick here. I'm going to play this video.
Everyone, I highly recommend Veda Revival's passport template and her bundle course. I mean, I can say nothing but amazing things about her. She is 100 out of 100. I mean, I knew I wanted my baby not to be a ward of the state. I wanted to own 100% rights over my child. And I know that this process is intense. I mean, the back and forth that you would get is insane, but as long as you stand your ground and you have a support system like Veda Revival, you will be 100% okay. I promise. I submitted my baby's application in March of 2024 and finally received it at the end of August. And I mean, any question I had, any concern I had, she was right there. Like her turnaround time was amazing for response. Like she was literally just an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. I mean, I highly recommend her, and she's very affordable. Um, there's a lot of people who may sell you the same thing, but they will not have the same customer service that I had with Beta Revival. I mean, there was times I wanted to honestly give up because I'm like, this is intense. Like, this is not gonna happen. Like, I lost a little faith, and I'm not going to lie. But as soon as I sent over my concerns and my questions, I mean, her turnaround time was amazing. She literally grabbed my hand and said, "This is what you need to do here, here, here. Let's do this and let me know how it goes." I did it and passport today. And honestly, I'm extremely thankful. I'm grateful. And I recommend every single person in the world to contact her and really make your baby 100% yours. I don't believe in laying in bed with the government and giving up our rights, but I do believe in doing what you have to do. Now, yes, we have to unlearn to relearn, but what better way to do it than with the support system of someone who's literally going to walk you every step of the way. Veda Revival, I cannot say enough things. Thank you so much. We love you. And I will definitely be spreading the word and getting your name out there because you deserve, well, I should say they deserve to be helped by someone so amazing like you. And thank you so much. We love you and we appreciate you. Everyone, I'm telling you, you heard it here first.
So I wanted to share that with you guys. On my website, I have a whole page of video testimonials, and this woman in particular, she had I can't remember if she had either invested in someone else's offering or she had tried to kind of piece it together, and she had submitted the passport first. She got denied, and that's when she kind of reached out to me to help her through the process, and we crossed the finish line, and that was really, really exciting. But that is a lot of the clients that I do get as well, is they went to someone else, didn't get the results they wanted, and came to me, and we were able to get them the results that they wanted. So that is something that I really do pride myself in. I pour my heart and my soul into my offerings, and I hope you guys can all feel that. And I really do. I have a lot of free offerings, just like tonight's webinar. I'm always trying to share freely free knowledge with other people. These specific offerings that I have, my babies guided me down this path. I knew nothing about having sovereign babies until I got pregnant with my own, and they guided me. They showed me the way. Truly, everything that I know, everything that I've learned it truly is their inheritance. So that's really what I'm creating here. And like I said, I put my heart and my soul into it. So, what I want to do for you guys that are showing up today and you're investing in yourselves and you're showing up for yourselves, I am going to offer you 30% off my Sovereign Baby Records and the passport course that shows you how to get a passport without the birth certificate, just tonight until midnight Eastern. So I'm going to give you guys a code, and no, it's not good after midnight. Midnight is the cutoff. But you want to put in discount code take 30. And I'm going to give everyone a little hint too. When you invest in my resources, you get rewarded with discounts on additional services. So if you go to purchase the passport course at checkout, it will give you an option to upgrade and add the records at a discount. And then I'm also offering you guys tonight for showing up and, like I said, investing in yourself, an additional 30% off. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for trusting me and showing up today. Today, I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about no longer relying on government systems. Not a lot of people realize that the court systems, the government, banks, they all utilize insurance policies. We all actually, if we have a birth certificate, are being insured by the government. Our flesh and blood is actually insured by these entities. And they're using insurance policies, but we haven't been taught how we can use these insurance policies to our benefit. So, for one, I talk about free babies. That really is my passion. I love the babies and setting them up for success, and setting up one of these policies is absolutely essential for free babies. But today, we want to focus on the mothers and fathers, because they should be setting this up for themselves. Because if they're not setting themselves up, then they're really setting their babies up for failure. You can set your babies up, but if you're not setting yourself up as a mother or father, you really aren't setting them up. It really is this concept of like, put your mask on before you put your babies on, because you need to be showing them the way by setting yourself up. And I'm sure either we've experienced or we've heard stories of mothers and fathers that didn't set themselves up and ended up being a complete burden on their children, when their children were the ones that had to pick up the pieces financially, because maybe our parents did rely on the government systems. And we all know, you guys, Social Security is going to be gone within the next 10 years. So if that's, something we're relying on, we gotta figure out another plan. And just in general, we are trying to leave the government system, start taking radical responsibility of our lives, and start really taking our financial future and the financial future of our babies into our own hands. So yeah, that's something Mondo is going to be talking about today. And I'm going to introduce Mondo. Mondo has been a really great friend of mine for about 2 years now. Him and his family actually came out to Utah, where I live, to visit us. We spent time with his beautiful family, and um, anyway, I have an insurance policy, an IUL specifically, an indexed universal life insurance policy. My husband does, my babies do, everyone does. And this is why I had to share with other people, because people need to know about this. This is not something. I don't know if any of you guys have watched any of our other webinars or the recent interview that Mondo and I did recently, but truly everyone should be operating this way. So I this is Mondo's consultation link. I'm just putting it up here so y'all can scan it before he kind of gets into his thing. I'll show it again later. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mondo Grimes.
Hey Veda, what's going on?
Hey, oh, not much. What's going on with you?
Oh, sleep deprivation, but I'm good though. Hey, parents, y'all know what I mean. That's right. That's right. But all is good. Doing excellent, man. Hey,
Good.
thank you for having me on again to chat with you and share good information on how we can help families and take care of some private banking needs that we're all going to need and do need. So I'm looking forward to it. Please be patient with me, Veda. Seems like I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to push through, drink a lot of H2O. So if you guys can bear with me, I'm gonna do the best I can this evening. So first of all, Veda, let's talk about just real quick. I know I'm gonna share my screen and get into it.
Yes.
If you don't mind, though, I mean having me on as your guest is to me is much bigger than us just being friends, right?
Hmm.
And it's phenomenal how so many people that I've met through you are on the same journey, and it really is an honor to be able to help families who are looking to ensure their families, to ensure their babies, and even themselves. And you and I felt in our previous conversations that, hey, you know what, we got to talk to the parents. To your point earlier, it's like talking to the parents. So if you've seen us talk before, we're going to take a little pivot, right? A lot of the same
Yep.
information, some additional things, but we're gonna speak to mom and pops today. You know what I mean? So, is there anything you want to make sure that I cover today for your guest, or just do my thing?
Do your thing. Do your thing. You're good at your thing.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, cool beans. I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick, and then I shortened my slideshow, just so you know.
Okay. Okay.
I'd shortened it. The before it was a little ridiculous, so I actually made it little more concise. So we should be good today. All right, cool beans. All right, a little brief stuff here. I'm Mondo Grimes, as Veda has mentioned. I am the founder of AMG and Associates. We focus on wealth accumulation, private banking. Let me say that again, private banking. Okay, we're gonna hit that hard, and also retirement needs as well. So we're gonna talk about all three of these things today. Heavy on the private banking though. Okay. Excuse me. Obviously, this is me. You probably never seen me in a suit before, Veda, have you? There you go.
I have
So
not. Looking dapper in that suit.
yeah, so this is me. I already introduced myself. We don't need to stare at that any longer. So we're all good. All right, awesome. Keep it moving. But you do need to know this information. So this is our team. So you can see here, this is obviously me at the top with our other advisors and then our back office team out of Kansas. This is not just me, the Mondo show. This is us, the AMG and Associates show regarding how we help you and your family. So it's not just me and my eyeballs and my acumen. It is a group of individuals that will surround your needs, your information, protection, and all that good stuff to make sure you guys are well taken care of. All right. So just so you understand who Veda is bringing on to her lovely webinar tonight, it's actually all of these people right here. Okay. Awesome. Excuse me. So let's talk about a few of the challenges, some of the problems that we help our families with. Some of these things, most of you will already know, but I do want to hit a few hard. First of all, one thing that we all understand is that a lot of us have had a limited control of our income, right? Depending on where you work or if you're retired or, like you said, Social Security, right, Veda? Older individuals, you have limited control of your income. 401ks, 403bs have no liquidity. Your money's in jail till you're 59 and a half. And a lot of people are like, man, I've been putting this money away forever. And man, I'm only 38, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So we hear that quite a bit. So much so, here's the flip side of it. We have so many clients, especially this week, Veda, because of what the market's been doing. We've had people call us and say, hey, I found a couple 401ks that I started to build at two other employers that I used to work at. I forgot I had them. Is there anything I can do with that? The answer is yes. But that just goes to show you how your money's locked up so long in such these thick walls, you just kind of like, oh yeah, keep it moving. Next job, just throw it away when you really don't have to. We already know government a lot of times has fixed income on our individuals, our family, seniors in their golden years. People trying to live their best lives in 65 and up. That can be a challenge for some folks. There's financial uncertainty year to year. We're seeing that this week. This is so crazy that we're having this webinar now after what was happening last week in the economy. Like our phone regarding all these things right here. I've been so busy. Part of the reason why I sound like this is because of all the conversations we've been having, all the meetings we've been having because of these things. Heavy tax obligations, no legacy protection. We're going to talk about that, and subject to probate court. I don't know if Veda, you know anything about probate court?
No, luckily.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you
I
don't.
mean, not I know about it, but I haven't had personal experience with it. Thank goodness.
Yeah, you don't want personal experience with probate court. I tell you that right now. So we can get to the weeds of that later, but this is some of the issues that we see some of our families dealing with. So essentially, what we want to talk about is like, what if there's a tool out there that can help us with private banking, with minimizing tax obligations, that can help us avoid probate, that can help give us more control of our finances, that can help us give us legacy protection. What if there was something that did all these wonderful things? And most people would say, well, that'd be awesome, right? But there's nothing like that, Mondo. Not true. Not true. There actually is. Okay. And this is where a lot of people sometimes they'll tell me, Veda, they'll say, are you sure this is too good to be true? And I said this on our conversation, but just because it's new, all it means is that it's new to you. It doesn't mean that it's bad, doesn't mean that it's wrong, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means it's new. Right. And and IUL is what I'm discussing. So here's what a tax-free cash cow, like what if there was a tool like this, right? We already know we're talking about IULs, but some people that don't know we're talking about IULs yet, I'll actually lead them a little bit, Veda. I'll say, okay, what if there was a tool that gave you liquidity that was safe and reliable, consistent, uninterrupted principal, meaning you don't lose money, it only goes up. Expected rate of returns, legacy protection for you and your children, your family, right? It hedges against inflation. It hedges against the cost of eggs going up every month. Seems like, build a safe tax-free retirement. That's a big one right there. That's a huge one right there, parents. Okay. Provides income replacement if needed. If you were to lose a job, or if one of your family members or a loved one were to pass away, and you relied on their income, but now they're gone, this can replace income that they were bringing into the home. Private banking, giving you all the features of a bank, but you control it. Okay. And then tax advantage and tax-free growth. What if there was a tool that gave you that? People are like, oh, that would be awesome. There is a tool. It's called life insurance, as Veda mentioned earlier. It's life insurance, index universal life, even traditional whole life, but we favor index universal life, which is called an IUL for short. A lot of people, Veda, when they see this slide, it's like real simple. Oh, life insurance. Here we go. Right. Life insurance talk. I saw this on TikTok. I saw that, whatever. Okay. All that stuff. Well, here's the thing. Life insurance has been around forever, right? Most people don't know how to leverage it. Right. That's the key. It's kind of like cars have been around for a long time, but most people don't know how to drive them. Right. That's kind of how, same kind of deal.
Yeah.
Especially if you live where I live. Okay. So with that said, life insurance is the vehicle. And you're like, Okay, well, let's do this. Let's pause for a second, and we're going to reprogram ourselves. We're going to get out of that old paradigm of life insurance is for death. Life insurance is, grandma dies, I die, my husband dies, whatever. There'll be money to help us move on. That is true. That is one truth. That is not all of the truth. Okay. And we're going to talk about those other benefits. So here's an easy, elementary way to look at it. Excuse me. Very easy way. We call it the Swiss Army knife of wealth to make it very simple. Number one, the IUL can be used for personal financing. Okay. Now, this is huge, especially, Veda, free babies, right? All this is huge. We talked about personal financing. What does that mean? Well, instead of doing business financing through a bank, you're doing the financing, meaning that you control the pot. and you can finance things to yourself because you feel like it. You can come and go as you want, okay, within the policy, using the cash value, no different than a bank would. A savings account. There are some people that use an IUL as a savings account because it's a high yield savings account. It's protected. So if you go to a regular bank, we all know you're going to get 0.01% or something minuscule like that. Where if you use this in IUL and just start stuffing your money in there, whatever amount you set aside out of your checks and this, that, and the other, you're going to get way more than that. They say you're going to get between 6 to 11% every year. Come on now. That's awesome. Okay. Project funding. This is a big one. This is for our entrepreneurs. This is for people who are in real estate or doing big business of some sort, or even small business. That had to be big, just business in general. And they're wanting to structure an IUL that will allow them to extract cash, okay, to extract cash and go out and create a cash flow asset for themselves. And we can design the policies that will help you do project funding like that. Obviously, the big one right there you see in the middle is the death benefit. We already know that. Okay. Then there's retirement funding. This is a fun one. Okay. The retirement funding part is great because you can say, all right, you know what? I don't know what my job's going to do. Okay. I don't know let me give you an example. Okay. So I kind of go sideways for a second, Veda. My mother actually said I could share this story publicly. Okay. So real quick, my mother worked at General Motors 32 years. She worked her way from entry level all the way up to being the vice president of diesel engines internationally. Okay. Over 32 years, grinding, getting after it. Well, when she retired, her pension was pretty healthy. And then I remember this one day she called crying and really upset because out of the blue, they just decided to cut her check by $1,800 a month just because. Just because. No real explanation. Oh, and by the way, in what was it? Uh, it was another account. There was like a savings account that was kind of being split up over a period of time. She had over like $800,000 in it. And right off the rip, they sent her a letter said, now you only have 340.
Wow.
$500,000 gone like that. What's she gonna do about that? You gonna sue General Motors? By the time it gets to court, she's gonna be passed away. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. So no control at all. 32 years, no control. So there's a lot of people are saying, you know what, based upon what's happening in the market and all these kind of stories out there, they want control. And then with an IUL, you can actually set it up and design it to where it pays you a tax-free retirement for multiple years, decades. And I'll show you an example shortly. Income replacement, we talked about that earlier. This gives you true ownership. All right, ownership. And I'm gonna show you what that means shortly. And also private lending is another tool. This is a popular one. I have a client in Houston who she enjoys her policy so much. She's lending money out from her policy to other people, being a hard money private lender. And she's charging, interest, writing up contracts. She's a bank, right? Veda, she's a bank. She's just, Veda, oh, you need something, you're trying to fix your driveway and you can't get a loan from your bank. Hey, I'll take care. You need what, 6 grand? Okay, let's work out the terms. I'll give it to you. Let's work out the terms. And she'll loan it out. She has a little business doing that. Okay.
Amazing.
It's amazing, right? Okay. So these are some of the popular tools, and I'm giving you some examples of this right now. Now, I show this part because as I go through the Swiss Army knife and different things, I've heard people say to me, yeah, right, Mondo, this is too good to be true. It sounds shady, this, that, and the other. I'm gonna go ahead and get ahead of it. Okay, Fada. So I'll get ahead of it. Because I've heard some things, people say some things to me like, yeah, right, I don't know, whatever. Okay. Here, don't forget about me for a second. Forget about me. I want you to do research. If you're one of those individuals and you're like, you know what, I don't know about this dude. I don't know about what he's saying. I don't know about these policies. Da, 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 da. Okay. I want you to do is go to the IRS's website and I want you to read what they wrote about permanent life insurance, IULs, and traditional whole life, and how you can leverage the IRS codes and citations that they wrote in regards to the policies we're discussing today. Okay. IRS code 72E, 7702, 101A, and in tax citations, TAMRA, TEFRA, and DEFRA. These 6 you can research, and it's really easy. You can even Google it, and I think it'll just pop up real quick in like a little AI explanation even, just pop it up right there and will explain to you what I'm telling you and how you're able to do it legally, ethically, and all that. They're allowing you to do this. This is not a cheat code. Okay. It's not a hack. It's actually being informed on something that most of us didn't know, that a code that they wrote a long time ago. Okay. So this is one thing we do at AMG is we want to educate the people we work with. So let's speak to that, Veda, real quick. How much have you learned rocking with us over the last couple of years? Just curious. How much have you learned?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I knew nothing about life insurance other than that there was a death benefit. I actually had a term policy before, and then realizing that that's like such a waste of time. I was blown away with everything you shared with us. How much have I learned? Everything. And I'm still learning. There's so much to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a very flexible plan and policy. I will say this too before I go to the next part, real quick. Um, if you have questions about IULs or insurance in general, I would definitely suggest talking to someone who really knows what they're talking about. Okay, I'm not the only one, but I am the one that Veda knows. But you want to make sure that if you're talking to someone about it, that this stuff on the screen right here, they're aware of this. If they don't know what TAMRA, TEFRA, DEFRA, and all these tax codes, if they're not aware of that, run because they're going to put up seriously. I'm not kidding. Here's why. If you've heard something negative about IULs or life insurance, it's most likely written by an agent who doesn't know what's on the screen right here. Real talk with you. It's being straight up. Okay. So to help you out and how to interview the people that help you, right? You want to make sure that they know what they're doing, positioning the right way, building it the right way, so it doesn't, affect you negatively. Okay. So just kind of keeping it, how should I say? I don't keeping it real. That sounds so old, but you know what I mean. All right, cool. So here's a little bit deeper in the weeds of it. So first, before we understand the private banking side, we have to know how banks operate. So it's very silly, simple illustration, but I think it'll help you. So here's us right here making our little money. Okay. And then we put money in the bank and then we take it out, put money in the bank and we take it out and on and on. Okay. But all the while, the bank is over here. They're taking our money, 65% of what we put in, and they're reinvesting it into life insurance policies. It's called BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. They take policies out on all their employees, okay? Because that's considered insurable interest legally by the Department of Insurance. They are allowed to take policies out on their employees. Well, that's not foreign because a lot of us have worked at jobs where, guess what? They offer what? Insurance as a benefit, right? It's no different. The banks are taking out IULs for these reasons because IULs accumulate cash value. IULs and whole life, you can leverage them, the cash value for certain things, partnerships, big buildings, salaries, things like that, they use it for. Okay. I mean, how do you think, Veda, where it's like I'm not going to say a particular name of bank, but there's, say, your bank right here, and then there's another branch like 5 blocks up, and then another bank. And it's like, y'all need that many, right? You know what I mean? And then every time
Uh,
you go in one, they're always empty,
yeah, it's
right?
true.
Well, how do you think they're building these buildings? Are they going in there cash or are they pulling out money from the cash value in the insurance policies? That's where they're getting it from. When you see skyscrapers downtown and it says a bank at the top, or you're going to a new development, a neighborhood, and this neighborhood is being built by, where do you think they're getting that money from? Okay. And then what they do is they take said money and they create products to resell. Credit cards, 24%. They're getting anywhere between 6 to 12% over here, most likely in that range. Okay, on our money that we put in there. And then they create products and turn around and charge us 24% on credit cards. Okay. Business loans, mortgages, 2 to 7%, whatever, and give it right back to the people that got the party started in the first place. Us. Okay. That's how things work. That's a very simplified illustration of how the money flows from us to a bank and then right back to us from the bank. Okay. Now, give you an example. This is from a couple years ago. This gives you an idea of how much money in life insurance assets these banks have. This was reported some years ago. Actually, I have an updated one, Beta. I need to show you on the next webinar from last year. The numbers are even more ridiculous. Okay. But if you see it, you might see your bank on here. Now, again, this is not like putting anyone on blast or saying they're bad. They're not. This is just what they do. This is banking practices. So my question is, if they're doing this with life insurance assets, how come it can't be your name right here? Fair, right, Veda? That's fair.
That's fair.
How come it can't be your name, Savannah, Paige, Cam, whoever? Like, how come it can't be? It should be. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. How to leverage the same types of policies that banks are doing, and how do we make it our own? So here's what you do. Same spot. We're at the same little coffee table counting our pennies, right? Doing our thing. Instead of putting all of our money in the bank and letting it sit and rot away or just sit and do nothing, money makes money better than we do. Right, Veda? So,
Yeah.
so you want to position it. It does. Benjamin really knows how to get down. Okay, better than we do. So you take your money, and of course you're gonna do your regular stuff, groceries, this, that, and I get all that. But if you have reserves, savings, whatever, you want to put some money somewhere else, I will highly suggest put it into a life insurance policy. Why? So you can enjoy the same fruits that the banks are experiencing. Uninterrupted compounding growth, 5 to 6 times. You get tax-free cash value. You can leverage it for many different reasons. We talked about in our Swiss Army knife, income replacement, private banking, project funding, tax-free retirement, all those different things we talk about in the Swiss Army knife. Then, of course, over here, you've got the obvious one. Well, it's the big knife, right? Is the death benefit. Here's the cool part. The death benefit of this life insurance policy is the collateral against all the money that you're leveraging over here in the cash value. Now, when we do a consultation together, I'll break down to you in details how that part works, but that's kind of the 30,000-foot view of it. Okay. The death benefit is the collateral for you to leverage all this. Okay. So you have all this, and guess who it goes back to? You. Guess who's not getting anything? All right. You're leveraging it for your benefit, for your family. Okay. All right. So come and give you a couple different examples here. This is huge because this is more of like a retirement example. If you look at the green one of the top North American right here, this is an example of someone who's 35 years old. So parents, mom, dad, we're talking to you. This is what Veda was talking about earlier about getting our affairs in order. So that way, we're not a burden on our children later on. Okay. This is a way for us to make sure that, we are taking care of our stuff. So whether you're 35 or whether you're 55 or whatever you are, you can do this. Okay. So just a quick example, if you were putting in $15,000 a year, okay, and you did it from 35 to 65, you will start receiving distributions at your retirement age of 65 in this amount right here. So let's say you want to get paid to all the way to 100 years old, okay? So 65, so 35 years. You will be drawing $132,000 a year tax free. I mean, that's a pause rate. You got to let that simmer for a second, Veda. Think about that. Think about if you were to do that for your children and what their account, they're not, say that they're not 35, they're like 10, 8, 5, 4, 2, and you're investing in your baby and they get to retirement age. Holy smokes. Okay. So this is just one example of what a tax-free retirement. This is more of a chart, but I'm gonna give you a real-time play here. Example with a real client. I'm gonna zoom in for all those who are, challenged with in the eyes like me. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Okay, this is an example of someone. Guide watch the little blue dot right here. I'm gonna guide you around. So 38 years old, as you can see. Okay, putting in $1,000 a month, 12,000 over the year. Okay. You see over here is a death benefit of 552, and it's increasing over the next 20 years up to 952. Okay. That's a strategy we do and intentionally. But if you look at, we only have her paying in for 20 years. She stops at 57. So she's put in 240,000. Okay. At age 66, she starts drawing out $100,000 a year, going over to the other chart, boom, boom, boom. See withdrawals? Okay. So she's taken out, look, these two bold numbers. She's taken out $1.6 million in retirement money tax free, but she only put 240 in. Let me show you how it builds. Go back over here. This account value column. Okay. If you see here, this is on a conservative 6.54 credit, parents. So you're putting your money to in a life insurance policy, and you're getting a conservative 6.54. Look what's happening. Every year, your money's growing. And you're like, oh, well, at year 20, it's going to stop, right? Because she stopped paying. Nope. 408, look, she stopped paying right here. 437, 467, 500. It's going up about $35,000 a year. Okay. And we're still right. And then she starts taking distributions here. So this individual, my client, is happy as a clam because she's like, I don't know what my job is going to do. We make a lot of pivots and changes all the time. HR is doing all the kind of funny stuff. I want to make sure that I have a great retirement that I control. I can determine what I want to make. I can contribute to it based upon my budget and what I want to do. And I don't have to wait till retirement. I can actually start pulling out way earlier if I wanted to. Year one, year two, year three. It's liquid. Okay. So that's another example. Two more real quick examples and we'll wrap up. Let me zoom back out real quick. Let's see if it'll go. There we go. Okay. This is an example of someone who what I call sitting on cash. Okay. Is better return than your savings account, right, Veda? Okay,
Hmm.
you got money sitting there collecting dust. We call it dead money. You just got dead money sitting around. Okay, this is one of my older clients who decided to say, you know what, I've got a little nest egg and that came in from different things or whatever, but I'm gonna go ahead and put 250 in just one time. That's it. But look at this account value after the first year, 250, 263, and growing. She's 60 years old when she started this thing. By the time she's 80, she got $741,000 in that thing. And she only put in 250. And for her family, the legacy, look at the death benefit, how it's growing every year. At 82 years old, she what was it, 81, going to 82, she's got $1 million in there for her family. And she only put in 250. This is not only controlling your finances, and you can look at private banking, you could she all this is liquid. She could take this stuff. This is not locked up now. This is not like a 401k. This is money she can leverage today. Okay. And this will be there for her family. Okay. And one more quick example on the project funding. Let me zoom out. All right. Now this is someone who we want to look at. All right, I know CBC is non-guaranteed. Here's why that word is there. Non-guaranteed means that we can't predict the future. That's what that means. Okay. Meaning that we don't know what the market's going to do. So the index will fluctuate between, the zero, obviously, but nothing negative, up to sometimes upwards of 15%. Okay. But in this example, what you see here is someone putting $100,000 in and they're going to put 25K in. This is a project funding deal. This is someone who's maybe doing real estate or building a business. And they're saying, hey, you know what? I just drew out some equity from a sale of a house or a sale of a business or whatever it is. And I want to dump it into a policy. Okay. You got cash value available right away. They want to pull some out. Okay. And you see how they're putting more money in, but they stop 10 years in. But I want you to watch how it keeps growing. Okay. So by 25 years in, they put 325 in, but they got 861 in value. Okay. So when designed correctly, based upon oh, this right here, those are the results that you get. Okay. When it's designed correctly, you get these examples. Okay. So quick recap. The insurance industry is the safest industry to invest in. Why? Because they're not accounts, they're contracts. There's a big difference between investing your money into an account that's governed by the government, okay, versus contracts. Veda, this is a rhetorical question. A trust, is it an account or a contract?
A contract.
Yes. And when you go to court with said contract, can the court penetrate your contract? Can they manipulate it?
No, they can't manipulate it. They just
That
have
is
to honor the
correct.
contract.
They just have to honor it. So, what is an IUL? Is it an account or a contract?
A contract.
There we go. You get where I'm going. Okay. You get where I'm going. Now, as we've been doing this, oh, here's another suit for you, Veda. There you go. Little fashion show today. Okay.
I love it.
All right. So this is kind of a new part, parents. Okay. This is for specifically for the folks, us getting our stuff together. Okay. Because we've discovered this in all these conversations that a lot of people are like, man, you know what? This is great, but I've got some concerns. I don't want to have to work out of necessity in my golden years. Okay. And we all know I have several people in my family that have to work. They're not working just to stay in shape and stay active and keep their mind going. No, they're working because they have to monetarily. Okay. And so what we've seen is, and I know Veda, you and I have talked about this over the years. We have some of these complaints that people have about old 401ks and 403s and other retirement plans that I mentioned earlier, all that dead money that's been sitting around not doing anything. There's a lot of parents out there that have old money that is rightly yours that you should be doing something with. Okay. One thing that I've been telling people this week is, everyone's like, oh, I got to do something new. That's cool. We can do that. But how about let's take care of what you already have before you start getting new stuff? Let's position what you already have. Let's get that together. Let's clean the house before you start bringing in new furniture. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get it together. So, oh yeah, I've got a couple 401ks I forgot about, or I've got a 403. I have one particular client. She was a teacher in one of our states here, and she worked for three different counties and had three different retirement accounts and completely forgot about them because she can't access them until what glorious age? 59 and a half. She's only 44. Okay. So she just kind of, well, I can't, well, it's just over there. I don't know. I don't look at it. Then we happened to look at it and it was all kind of resources in there for her that she deserves. And we're able to use that, position it to where she can benefit from it today and in the future. All right. So here are some of the top complaints that we get. My retirement account isn't growing. The stock market is killing my 401k. Boy, have I heard that 10 million times this week. Okay. It'd be nice to access my money in case of an emergency. That's the power of an IUL. Okay. And another vehicle as well. I don't know what to do with this thing. I feel like my money's in jail. 59 and a half is far away. I like to access my money without penalties. I don't know who controls my retirement plan. Veda, here, listen to that. I don't know who controls my retirement plan. What will my
That's
tax
crazy.
bracket be? That's crazy, right? If you really think about it. Okay. What will my tax bracket be when I retire? My Roth, my IRA, my 401k, da da da. I know it's good, but is there something more secure? Answer is yes. IULs and this other tool, this right here. I want you to check it out. It's a little video from Tom Bill. You'll love this dude.
I sold my last company for $1 billion. I know how to make money. Even I don't consider myself a good investor. Investing is a whole different thing. It's gambling. Yeah. It is understanding where things are going to go in a wildly complicated market, not having any control on it, but being able to bet on whether what's going to work out. You can bet with the system.
All right. So without getting too deep in the weeds on that, you heard what he said. And this goes deep in the weeds when it comes down to a conversation I had on Monday, a week ago. Veda, it was gut wrenching, painful to listen to this woman crying about that right there. She's retiring in December and she has lost so much money in her retirement account. She called, I didn't know what to say. She's asking us to fix it. I've known her probably 4 months. Okay. But this is a common conversation that we need to get ahead of. Didn't you say earlier, Veda, Social Security is not going to be around soon?
Yeah, they estimate 10 years on the Social Security website, is what they say.
And they put it on the website.
Yeah.
Shame on us. This is what I tell people all the time. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for like one sentence. Let's not, as parents and adults, stick our head in the ground like an ostrich. You know what I mean by that? Stick your head in the sand and you just act like nothing else is going on around you.
It
Because
literally
you,
is like la 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 la.
yeah, like it's not happening. I'm not losing money. I'm not, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we
Yeah.
don't want to live like that. And there's a lot of people that have done that for so long.
Yeah.
And our children deserve better than that.
Yeah.
We
Or
deserve better than that for
or it
ourselves.
is the mentality of like, well, it's not going to affect me, and you're just leaving the next generation in
Yes.
shambles.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. So what options do I have? Okay, do I have any? This is a comment, dude, this is so timely. Yes, you do have options. IULs. Yes, you do. You have another vehicle, and a lot of times they can work in tandem with a proper strategy. Okay. Now, here's some of the things that we're working with our clients, and we all know who this guy is. I want you to hear. You may have heard this word before, but I want you to hear what he said.
See this rich guy, really older, hey, older, short. I said, how? And he told me a word I never heard. He said, Shaq, you need to invest in an annuity. And I never knew what it was. And I looked it up because I was making so much money from commercial and all, I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, yeah, all this money you're making, if you put it away, you can invest it and you can start collecting at 50, 60, and 70. So that was my greatest investment.
So just like an IUL, annuities are contracts, not accounts. They are with the same insurance company. Literally, Veda, your IUL and your annuity are two contracts could literally be held with the same insurance carrier and could be working in tandem. Okay. Check this out. United States was formed in what, 1776? Annuities been around since before that. so, so, so it's not a new thing. Okay. This is a very common thing. All right. And it's a very safe, reliable vehicle to put your money in. Now, it's not just for old people. You're like, well, I'm 30. I don't need that, Mondo. I got you. Okay, well, it's just one of my new clients today. She's 31 and she got one today. Okay. It's not for just for old people. It's for people who are looking to protect assets and want safe, positive growth. Why? With an annuity, here's some bullets real quick, 30,000 foot view. You can customize it, whether you're young, old, middle, whatever. Only upside growth. I could run around the room on that one right there. Only upside growth. It's not in the market, so it's not gambling. You have a stop loss strategy so that you're not ever participating when the market goes down like it did last week. So everyone that I signed up prior to last week, excuse me, if the market if it went down last week, guess what their annuity did? It stayed level. They didn't go down. Okay. It can be built for liquidity. There's bonus money available. There's one particular product, Veda. Check this out. They will give you 45% of what you fund. There's another product or contract that will give you 21%. The one I helped the lady with today, she got 21% bonus on what she put in.
Oh,
She rolled over a 401k that she had building up, a little over 200 grand in there. She got $42,000 just for a signature. Thank you very much. Okay. So what's the idea? If you've got 401ks and all this other stuff sitting around, guess what? You don't lose anything, Veda. You literally move it from here to here. It's like giving us at AMG permission to redecorate your pantry, just reorganize it. That's all it is. You don't lose anything. All the same stuff is in there. We just moved it from here to here. And because you allowed us to do it from here to here, the company says, oh, Merry Christmas. Here's a bonus. Tax benefits. You can build it to where you pay very little to no taxes, structured the right way. No mandatory withdrawals. Like, and that's, I won't get deep in the weeds on that, like 401ks, all that stuff. And check this out. Like an IUL, you can build the remaining money if you pass and all that, and there's money left in there. You can actually have it divvied up to your beneficiary in a continuous paycheck. So the contract doesn't die like a what? Trust. or you can do it in lump sum or whatever. Okay, different things. All right, so those are some of the things you can do with an annuity. All right, so with that said, the wealth accumulation, the tax-free retirements, and private banking, these are the things that Veda and I have just decided that this will be important for everyone here who's listening to learn about. Okay, it's crucial, it's vital to know this information, but knowing is a part of it. Action is the next step, right? It's doing something about it. You can know it all day long, but that's not cutting the mustard. We got to do something. Thank you for your time, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mondo. That was beautiful. I loved the presentation. I loved seeing pictures of you in a suit. That was good.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Well, I want to invite people if they want to turn their cameras on. I kind of like the personal, the face-to-face interaction. If you feel comfortable, I would love to see your guys' faces. But I'd also love to open the floor right now for questions. You guys can ask Mondo or you can ask me. Mondo's the expert, but yeah, does anyone have questions while you're here? Cam says, what about getting taxed for moving my current 401k?
It depends on where you're moving it to. That's the thing. Yeah. So if you're moving it from 401k to an annuity, there is no tax because you're rolling it over. Okay. So there's a back door called 1035 exchange. It's a back door that the IRS wrote themselves, not me. Okay. You leverage that and you can do what's called a rollover. There's no taxes when you roll it over. If you extract it, though, if you take it out, there's taxes. Okay. If you have you say, I'm done with this thing, give me my money, right? There's going to be penalties and taxes. But if you roll it into an annuity, you can do that. Now, you cannot roll it into an IUL. That 1035 won't allow you to go from like a 401k directly into an IUL straight, like just straight to it. But there's ways to get it over there, though. Great question.
Good question. Can you take care of people with only 20 to 50K instead of hundreds of thousands in my retirement fund?
Yes, absolutely. So those are some examples. However, there's no right or wrong number, so to speak, right? Matter of fact, okay, I got a call yesterday. Gentleman would like to have an annuity that pays an extra $800 a month to his retirement. 800 bucks. We're not looking at like the 132,000 or 12,000 a month, right? Or whatever. Like we're literally looking at an extra 10,000 a year. So yeah, there's no wrong answer. So if you need to get started, that's fine. That's totally cool. If you're looking to get started, that's my main thing, Veda. You know me. It's like, people say, well, it's kind of like that marriage thing. Like, I'll get married when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well, when does that happen? There's like some piece of mail we get, like you're ready, then we thought, let's get married, babe. You know what I mean? Like, what is that day? So same thing with this. It's just get started. Establish the habit, exercise that muscle, get used to the concept and the discipline of having contracts and how to operate them. Then you scale, you grow with it, you get creative, and you learn more. You ask great questions, things like that. But you do want to just get started. Okay. I don't care if it's $100, doesn't matter. It's like, get started for your family. You ain't doing it for me. You're doing it for your family. Just get started.
Yeah. Yes, that's where I was at, where it's like, okay, just something, especially for my little ones. It was like, just, the earlier you start, the better, even if it's as much as you can. There's another question here. It says, how much are your services to do this? Is it extra?
No, it is not. My services to you. First of all, I will give a little plug here to Veda. Veda has taken care of all the consultation fees. So anyone that comes through her organization, any webinar, you guys don't have to worry about paying for the consultation. Okay, so it's free. All right, you meet with me, and we talk, we learn, we grow, we laugh, we have a good time. Now, moving forward, if you decide to do something, guess what? You still don't pay me anything. Okay. So this is all about setting you guys up, because the way it works on our side of the fence with the insurance carriers, they actually take care of my organization out of their reserves. That is not your responsibility. Okay. So all we do is help you put a plan together by listening, your desires, needs, resources, all that stuff that you need and want. Okay. And we put it together and we introduce you to the company. Company, here's Steve. Steve, here's company. It's a beautiful marriage. Y'all do business, and the company says, we like Steve. Good job, Mondo. And then out of their reserves, they take care of our organization. So, plainly said, you pay us nothing.
Amazing. Amazing. Mondo,
Yes.
so when I first started hearing about this, at first it was like, okay, this sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
If it was true, how come I haven't heard about it yet? I want
Hmm.
you to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go like it's just me and you talking.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
All right, cool. Honestly, we haven't heard about it because these conversations and these vehicles have been kind of kept to a certain demographic and a certain group of individuals. Okay. These have been tools that the well-to-do, typically people with means, have leveraged for decades, decades, if not, I would dare say century. Centuries with annuities. Okay, and it's been a conversation in a certain rooms, certain economic levels. This is what you do over there. Okay, here's what's interesting. Okay, this is crazy. So my clientele is very diverse. If I talk to an individual that comes from, higher economic level, they have means, all that good stuff. If I were to bring up the idea of a savings account or a 401k to them, they would cuss me out. I'm not kidding you. They will look at me sideways. What, man? Come on. Like that's not, mm-mm. They're annuities, life insurance, and other types of assets like real estate and things like that. Okay. However, in other demographics, and I'm gonna keep it real, like where I come from, and how I grew up, my circles and family, everything else, we didn't know anything about how to leverage life insurance. We knew of life insurance, but we didn't know how to use it for the living. I didn't know what an annuity was until I got my insurance license 13 years ago. I didn't know anything about an annuity. I didn't know what it was. I'll never forget when I first saw it in the curriculum to study for the life insurance exam. I was like, what's this big word? You know what I mean? I was like, what is this thing? And I learned about it. I was like, oh, this is cool. Not realizing this is a very common vehicle and contract that people have been leveraging for years. So it's been, I won't say reintroduced, it's been introduced to the world through social media. That, hey, that's cool. It's opened our eyes to IULs and different and annuities and different things like that, and all the other stuff that we geek out on, right? And we see. But just like anything, I always want to be careful with this and encourage people to do your research, ask great questions, and make sure that if someone's helping you, like I said earlier, that they know what they're doing. Some of the negative press you may hear about anything, it's not just about this stuff. It's not the product. Sometimes it's the producer, right? It's not the product, it's not the IUL, it's not the annuity, it's not the such and such. It's the person that put it together for you. They didn't know what they were doing. And then that person walks away blaming the IUL. No, you need to be blaming Steve. You know what I mean?
The
So
context, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So just be careful of that. This is something that I love introducing to circles that are like, man, I heard about it. I don't know anything about it. I mean, it's really enlightening, man. It's cool. It's invigorating to me because I'm like, man, I see the light bulbs coming on. They're like,
Yeah.
wait a second. So I have the same tools as those guys over there that are golfing at 2:30 on a Wednesday. Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating, kind of. If anyone here is like feeling frustrated that this is the first time you're hearing it, it is frustrating.
Yeah.
You're like this whole freaking time.
Yep.
That's how I felt anyway. I was like,
I
I
know.
wasn't taught this.
I know
But
I did. I know I did. I know I did. I was like, I felt a little, when I told you about the annuity, when I found out about it, and I asked someone, they're like, yeah, man. I was like, this is awesome. Like, when this tool? Like, they were like, are you serious? And I'm like, you know what I mean? He was like shaming me.
you're like, how long have you known about this? And you didn't tell
Right.
me.
Exactly.
How
Exactly. So,
when did you learn about like the Tefra, DEFRA, that kind of like when did you come
yeah.
across those rules?
I learned about that. So when I get into something, I geek out on it.
Hmm.
And especially if I in my organization, if we and I require this to all my guys too, if we and gals, if we are going to help someone with a service or a product, we better know everything we can know about it. We're not half stepping.
Mm.
You better know what it is, why it works that way, who wrote that, where did it come from, when they wrote it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with people's resources, man. So when we got into this thing, when I found out about annuities years ago, and then IULs were at the same time. I started kind of digging and finding out, oh man, okay, this, that, and the other. So I don't know the exact date, but probably, I mean, easy 10 years ago, I started
Mm.
digging into it. You know, Tamara Teffer. Now, of course, things change over time. Not They didn't really change much, but legislation and IRS is tweaking stuff or whatever. But you keep up with it, you learn about it, and I also understood that. Oh, wait, there's a lot of agents out there that don't even know what Tamara Teffer, Deffer, 101A, all this stuff is. And
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to like compare this to the whole like the taxes are voluntary rabbit hole.
yes,
Has everyone here, I want to know in the chat, how many people have gone down the tax thing where 12
hmm
USC 411 says that taxes are voluntary in their own codes, okay? And that using Federal Reserve notes are only for federal employees. And it's actually a felony to use Federal Reserve notes if you're not. But CPAs that you talk to that are experts, okay, don't even know about this code. So I want to say this is very relevant to this conversation with how many insurance agents you can talk to that'll tell you, well, that's a dumb idea, or people overtalk it because they just don't know how to
such a
utilize it or
great
set up the
example.
contract themselves. Yeah,
Such a great example. That was genius. That is the same thing.
exact same thing.
That was
So
genius. Yeah.
yeah. So now it's yeah. But it took me until I was 30 to even realize that my taxes were voluntary and I had been just gifting my money this whole time. And it took me till I was 30 to realize that there was this tool that I could have been using this whole time. And that the elites, I want to say, or you don't have to be elite. Just
Well,
like you
yeah.
don't have to be rich to be a trust fund baby. All these
Mhm.
different things that we've been taught, relearning all of this. But yeah, yeah,
We could do a whole nother conversation. You know, what would be fun is to have a conversation with you and I and just let everybody jump on and just listen to us rattle, like all the things that we're thinking. That'd be
yeah,
fun. And they could ask questions. I think it's no like specific agenda. It's just us talking about this stuff because it blows my mind at how much I have learned that let's call it what it is, the so-called elite, the resources that were available to them. And I'm not saying they're bad people or anything. I'm just saying it is what it is. They had certain access, right? And realizing like, wait a second. And you'll wonder like, how do they do this? How do they do that? What do you mean? What in the world? Like, it's just that they're just blowing your mind with how they live and how they move and shake throughout life. And like, how do they do this? And then when I start learning these things and going down the rabbit hole and then meeting individuals, I'm like, oh, I get it now. So it's not like it's for them. They're just the ones that know about it. Big difference.
yep,
And guess what? All y'all, Savannah, Bria, Suli, DC, Cam, everybody else. Now y'all know.
yeah.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do with it?
What you gonna do? That's it. The ball's in your
Are
hand. You
you?
gonna dribble or you gonna fumble?
Yeah.
Which
Are
one?
you gonna keep paying taxes, or are you gonna no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Does anyone here have any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to chime in?
Hi, I have a question.
Hey,
Um, is your company the insurance company or are you just like a third party consultant?
I am the middleman. I'm not the insurance company, no. So
Okay.
so the insurance companies, that's a great question actually, because people ask this a lot. Insurance companies, like for instance, unfortunately you can't call up there and say, "Hey, I want a policy." They're gonna like, "Okay, we have a guy in your area. His name is Mondo. Talk to him."
Okay.
That's that they're gonna punch you back over to me. You know what I mean? Or somebody like me. Okay. So we're the fiduciary for you, but we're the point of contact to the different carriers that have certain products that can meet your needs. So we're like your guide, your concierge, if you will. You know what I mean? to make sure
But
you're well taken care of, and we find something that meets your needs.
would you
Okay.
consider yourself a broker? Someone said that on here. So you,
Oh, yeah. I mean, technically, I guess by definition in our book, then yeah. But we're more advisors. Um, okay. Here's inside my world of work. Okay. When we hear broker means we're just trying to find you the cheapest price. Whether or not it's the best thing for you or not, we're just trying to find the cheapest thing so you buy it. That's in our world that we hear broker, we're like, no, that's not what we do. We're advisors.
Mm,
We advise you on how to make good decisions based upon your goals, your needs, your resources. Okay. And we poke holes to help you make a great decision for yourself. Okay. Well, why do you want that? Okay, great. Cool. That's a great reason. Then why do you want that then? So to create some critical thinking, right? Versus Julianne, right? It's for instead of you doing what I say, you're doing what you want to do based upon what you learned by rocking with us. Like you need to be fully educated on what you're doing. Because if we were to work together, I would literally tell you the same thing I told this guy earlier. We are not signing anything until you can repeat back to me what we're about to do. If you can't repeat it back, we're not signing anything. You need to understand. You don't need to have a degree in it, right? But you need to understand the basic blocks of what we're doing and have a foundational understanding of what you're doing with your resources and for your family. That is serious business, man. This is no joke. We don't take it light, right? So that's a long answer, Julian, to your question. That's a long, sorry, but there. I hope that helps.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. I get
no, that was
long-winded.
good.
Veda, you got to shut me up. I get long-winded, my friend.
No, I think that was really good. So someone asked, what is the lowest monthly cost for an IUL?
That's a great question. I find out that answer a lot. So I'll give you examples. Here's why. It's not like a chart where you just say, "Ooh, that's the cheapest one." Like it comes down to age, health, the company, and how they have their system set up with pricing and all that stuff. But I have seen carriers offer down to like $40 a month. Okay. I've seen that and I've seen upwards of whatever and everything in between. So, again, I have actually the client, she's a young mom, you know, um, she's matter of fact, oh yeah. I think, okay, I can tell you the story later, Veda. Okay. There's a connection there. Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, but yeah, so young mother, I think she's like 20 or 21 and just getting life together. She wanted to get started. And like I said earlier, she's starting to that discipline, exercising that muscle. Let me just start with something. I'm like, that a girl, that's get started with something, $40. Boom. Okay.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned something that I want to just like chime in on is it's
Mhm.
like you said it depends on your health, it depends on your age and all these different things.
Yeah.
But one of the hacks that people find that I found, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm still young and my health is great, but for people that are older, their health isn't great and they probably would not get great rates. The
Yep.
hack essentially is I found is to have a family trust and take policies out on the young ones in your family.
Yep.
But the trust is the owner. So they're totally skipping, even if they're young enough and healthy enough. Like my babies don't even need a medical exam. It's just,
Hmm.
yeah,
So I will say this, and I know what you meant when you said this, Veda, but I'm gonna just clear it
okay.
up for everybody else. I know what you meant. So she's right. It is a hack, but the technical term is it's not a hack. It's an actual legitimate pivot. It's a pivot that they allow you to do. They know you're doing it and they're cool with it. Sometimes when we hear hack, I just want to make sure people don't get things mixed up. But by that language, I know what you meant, though, my friend. Like,
Or strategy, I
yeah,
guess.
like we're trying to get away with something.
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
no,
Well,
they
I
know
guess
what you're doing. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
because
totally
most people
cool with
just
it.
think like one way, like, oh, I get myself an insurance policy, but there's these roadblocks. It's like, oh
Right.
no, there's always like, and I think that's, well, I know one of the reasons why I love Mondo is that he is so creative and he really thinks outside of the box and thinks of things you never would have thought of
Mhm.
and really is able to formulate something that is specific for you and your family and fits your goals. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna throw that plug in. Someone asked, can you get multiple IULs?
Yes, you can. As many as your heart desires, my friend. Yep.
Okay, someone said yes. Previously, when I first attempted to do this, they allowed me to sign, and I had no idea what the heck I was really going on.
Hmm.
Mondo broke it down really well, especially with the Swiss knife example, and really helped me understand IUL a lot more than before. So can you increase it whenever you decide from the $40?
Yes. And these are conversations we will have ahead of time because we would need to build it in line with that goal. If your goal is to put more money in it later, I need to know that up front so we can build it to where it has the capacity to receive it. That kind of goes down a rabbit hole. That's for a one-on-one. Short answer, yes. Yes. I get long-winded. I keep telling you. Yes, you can. There's a strategy for that. Yeah.
Well, and from what I know too, and just a simple thing is that you can start with a price or
Hmm.
whatever, and every year you're kind of reevaluating where your
Yeah.
current situation is too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that contract does kind of get updated every year.
It's flexible. It's
Yeah.
very like IULs are so flexible. Man, like if you, for instance, to give you an example, let's say your premium, you decided in the beginning, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do 500 a month. I can comfortably afford that. I'm gonna do 500. Then year two comes around, you're like, oh crap, mom just moved in with us. We got more expensive. Okay, it's probably a stupid example, but we moved in. We've got a higher grocery bill, higher water. That I don't know if that 500 is gonna, ooh, if I could do that. Don't panic. IULs are flexible. You just give us a call, tell us what's happening, and we make an adjustment. We can go down to a lower number to keep your policy in force. We'll call the company, say, how much would the client be able to contribute to keep the policy in force? When things get better, he or she may want to go back to the original 500. But what's the minimum? They'll say 125 to keep it in force. Cool. 125 it is. And then you're like, whew, okay, mom's moving in. I've got some extra money. I keep my policy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone knows their life is evolving. So when he shows you these charts, these are like projected, but right,
Hmm.
everyone is like what is going on in your life at 25 is not the same as what's going on in your life at 50.
Exactly
So it
right.
is, yeah, I love that it is flexible and you are always evaluating when you can dump more money in or when you need to pull back a little bit. Uh,
Ooh, this is a good question right here, Veda. Read it.
yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, is it better to have the trust on the IUL policy? Is that the question you're reading?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead. I'm sorry. Let's hit that one first. Then we'll go down to the next one. Okay. So, oh, okay. Is it better? What's your thoughts on that? Is it better?
Is it? I absolutely. So I read this book called What Would the Rockefellers Do?
Mhm.
And set aside the Rockefellers and their all sorts of things that I don't agree with and the way they are with humanity. I'll just say that. But the way they've run their family like a business is actually freaking genius. And everyone should read that book.
Yeah.
And it basically goes into this concept of how they've used trusts and insurance policies to make and keep generational wealth.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons why they're so uh, known for what they are is because most families lose their generational wealth within 3 generations.
Hmm.
It's like generally like 70% is lost in the second generation and then 90% by so and so forth.
Yeah.
But there's the way they've done it's called the Rockefeller waterfall. So you have this family legacy trust and you have insurance policies out on every single one of your family members. And that is exactly how you keep wealth within the family. So
It
absolutely.
remind it reminds me of how things are structured in our country.
Mm,
See, okay, I got to go there.
go there.
So what the Rockefeller method really is just the United States waterfall, like the waterfall method. That's what they do. I mean, you know what our Social Security number is, right?
A trust. And well, in God we trust is a
Yeah,
trust.
yeah,
So
exactly. It's an account. That's exactly right, Paige. That's exactly right. So yeah, so yeah, that's a phenomenal answer. But yeah, I believe that to to keep it private and protected, and then of course you got to structure it right. But I think the protection, the privacy, and all that, you want to have the IULs within the trust, 100%. Um, it just makes the most sense for a lot of reasons.
Yes, highly recommend. Well, and the thing is I think I mentioned this in the very beginning, is that we've all actually been operating out of trust. The birth certificate created a trust in our name. So just like Mondo was saying, our social security number is our EIN for our trust. So that is one reason why I all recommend, first of all, every family should have a family trust, and they should have policies on their own, little everyone in their family, but also intentionally creating a trust that you can operate outside of your social, so that that's kind of how you operate privately. So that's the strategy that I recommend for mothers and fathers that are having a baby out of the system, is to also create a trust with your baby's name, and they're using that so they can cash checks with their name in their trust. So anyway, side little tangent there. But the question, let's see, you said, so how do you get an IUL for a sovereign baby without a social security number? So that's the reason I actually found Mondo, was because I was searching high and low, knowing what I knew about IULs, knowing that this was the way that my baby that didn't have a birth certificate and social would be able to do private banking, to essentially replace the whole social security fund without all of the stipulations of the social insurance trust fund, is literally what it is. Plus, yeah, mainly the private banking, I would say, was the biggest thing, but also to always have this like emergency fund. But as he grew, if he wanted to take a loan out to buy a car, to buy a home, if he wanted to go to college, whatever, I knew the life insurance policy piece was 1,000%. He had to have that. So I found a few different insurance agents that do IULs, and I got far enough and then they wouldn't let me do it without the social. It was just, we can't do that. And going this path of having free babies, you end up learning quickly that if someone can't help you, you ask their supervisor, and if you can only get so far, then you're gonna on to the next one, and you're gonna freaking get what you want. So I manifested Mondo into my life, is really what happened. Is I drew him in, and he was the guy that was willing to push hard enough, because the people told him no at first too, where I was like, hey, my baby has a passport, really asking deeper questions, which again, Mondo advocated for me and my family, is that why do you need the social? Generally, it's so that you can have an identifiable number. It has nothing to do with taxing, which is what your social is supposed to be. That's actually the main purpose of a social, but other companies use a social just for an identifying number. And when you have a passport and you have a passport identifying number, eventually, and maybe you can even go deeper into this story, Mondo, they were eventually like, okay, well, okay, we can do this with a passport. So anyway, that's one reason why Mondo is so special, is I dare you to go find another insurance agent that's going to get your baby an IUL and is able to do it without a social. Uh-oh, I think your mic went out, Mondo.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I hit it on accident. It takes some persistence for sure, and being willing. I'll keep it straight with y'all. Being willing to know that people are calling you crazy in their office, and all the things, sideways things that were said to me. Don't care. No, because no one was answering my questions. For instance, here's a couple. Why do you need the social? Well, it's part of the application. I hear that. What's it used for? It's a baby. You're not doing a medical exam. You're not checking medical records, and you're not doing a prescription check. And typically, that's what you would use it for. Why do you need it? Well, that's part of procedure. Why is it part of procedure if the procedure is for things that we're not doing? I kept asking, and I was getting on their last nerve. Did not care, because no one could. And I don't say that being disrespectful. It's like, give me a solid answer, then I'll back off. But no one could. No one. It was because it's on the paper. oh, that's not good enough. Like,
Just
what?
because. Yeah.
Yeah, just because. And so after a while, there was someone in the office that said, "Oh, wait a second. Is this a free baby?" Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me talk to such and such. And so anyway, I just kept digging, kept calling, kept poking. It took a little bit. It reminded me of the lady, the video, the testimonial that you shared earlier. And she said that she had to keep calling, to get the was a passport she was getting, right? Um, yeah, just her persistence. I get the same thing, but you just gotta just keep going until they give you a legitimate answer, which most of the time they won't. You just then after a while they'll buckle and you get what you need.
Yep. But if you
Yep.
have the right person that's
Well,
willing,
yes, the thing. Like I'm just like that. So, I mean, I don't know if you call it bullheaded or whatever. I'm just basic, man. Like
yeah.
I'm that annoying toddler that just keeps asking why.
But that is
That is
so good
me.
though. That's so good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's really good for actually 1,000 reasons. But one of the reasons I loved so much is because I went to so many other people and they were like, "Yeah, nope," they said no. And I'm like you, I don't take no for an answer until I get a good reason. So I'm glad I found
Mhm.
someone else that would walk in the room and ask all the questions for me.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I,
I told Mondo too, I was like, if you can figure this out, I'm telling everyone about you because no one else out there is doing it. So this is why I'm doing these webinars because people don't realize how important this aspect
Hmm.
of it all is. Like I said, yeah, it's necessary for free babies. We found the way to do it with just a passport, but
Mhm.
everyone should be doing this. So this
Yeah.
is something mothers and fathers should be teaching their little ones and how to operate this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
See what you
Yeah.
got here.
What other books do you recommend, Mondo?
The Rockefeller Method. Let's see. Oh Lord, I'm blanking. It is oh my gosh. Hold on. Got it in my little thing here. Hold on. It's in my list. That's the most popular. Okay, regarding trust, that's the most popular one. If you're gonna do that, okay, that by far is gonna break it down. Um, what I would say is the Fords is a book with Henry Ford and his family. They actually have a very similar setup to the waterfall method with the Rockefellers. Carnegie's, same deal. Um, and I'm terrible with book titles, but these are three popular families, obviously, that the Biltmores just blew theirs up. But but anyway, they had a strong structure for obviously a long time. Um, but the go-to book is What Would the Rockefellers Do? That is definitely the number one book
A
to go to.
must read.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
And it's a pretty easy read too. Like it's pretty
Mm,
easy to follow. I really, really love that book. It conceptualized things for me, especially in this book. It specifically compares two different families,
mm,
the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, and how they operated differently. And it's like, oh my gosh, anyway,
mhm,
highly, highly recommend. That one opened my eyes a lot.
mhm,
Um, so someone asked, Veda, what is the structure that you have? So I use trust. Trust is the way I operate. I operate out of the jurisdiction of the United States through trust. So I have business trusts. I have multiple business trusts because me and my husband run multiple businesses together. Business trusts, and I have a family trust. And we also have trusts in our names. So we've completely moved away from the trust that our social security numbers are in because those trusts are owned by the United States corporation. So that's personally how I've chosen to move out of the jurisdiction and start operating privately. You start operating that way and you're no longer an employee to the corporation essentially. So anyway, that's what I recommend for especially free babies, that they start operating out of a trust if they want to continue to operate in commerce. I just want to say this really quick too. We all have the opportunity to operate just as men and women with private contracts. Okay. You can work. A lot of people are worried, like, well, how can people work if they aren't W-2 or 1099, whatever? Somehow, all those contracts, the W-2 and the 1099s, are contracts between you, your employer, and the IRS.
Mhm.
Okay, you can actually make contracts between me. I can make a contract with Mondo and say, hey, I'm a woman and you're a man. Let's make a private contract. And we're choosing not to include the IRS in our contract.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep.
just
Yep.
that's how I operate. I operate as a woman. And when I want to operate in commerce, I operate as a representative of my, or a trustee of a trust. So, yes. There's another question. Can you have an IUL without a passport? I'll let you answer that, Mondo.
We haven't crossed that road yet. So that is something I'm willing to tackle. That's all I had to work with, and it worked, right? But without a passport, don't know. That will have to. I don't know. Um, So here's what's funny. So so when we went through the process, and I was like, just what about birth certificate? No. What about the social? No, we don't need that. Remember, we talked about that already. Okay. So, but we do have a passport. And then here's the response. How did the parents get a passport? Like, I'm like, we're not, that's irrelevant right now. They have a passport. We have a passport. And so it was messing up the brain of the insurance company, right? They didn't quite understand it. But if you remove the passport from that conversation I have, I don't know how it would have played out. So the passport was kind of like the ultimate W factor for Veda's baby to get the policy in force. So
Yeah. So, and I'm going to just make a note on that. So for like private health insurance and different things, you can use, and I'm saying this because I have a lot of clients that do this. I have the Sovereign Records bundle that I have that proves nationality. There's a difference between nationality and citizenship. So when you prove your nationality, that you were born on the land and soil in one of the 50 states of the Union, right? You can use those records to prove nationality. As agents, though, that don't really understand this realm, you can use them, but it's harder to get past those agents that don't know. When you show someone a passport, there's no question.
mm-hmm.
So I would say for almost everything, a passport is a must because that truly is what's going to open and make your baby's life so much easier is the moment they hand a passport. No one's like, well, how are you allowed to live here?
Right.
You can have all your private documents. Those are great. You definitely need those. You use those to get a passport. And then that's your main key. So,
Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful.
yeah.
Love that.
Let's see. Are there any other questions?
Oh, I do have a recommendation. I went to my Audible account to pull up two books here.
I love it.
Okay. The Family Bank is one by John H. Nebeker, Nebeker. It's called The Family Bank. All right. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And the other, let me scroll down through my stuff, is, where we at? Oh, Becoming Bulletproof. Becoming Bulletproof by Evie. Last name is interesting. So hold on, let me spell it for you. Pouras. Now, it's a kind of a redirect on that book. That book is about some other things, but it goes into into what we're talking about as a portion of it. It's not all about, but I will tell you that there you go. That where we at? Sorry, go back. Family Bank is that one though. I would
Yeah.
definitely focus on that.
There's another one. Have you read? I bought the book. It's called Becoming Your Own Banker, I want to say. Have you heard of that
Yeah,
one?
you know what? Yeah, hold on. I got that in here too. Hold on. Yeah, Becoming Your Own Banker.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
one.
got that in here.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. Let's see. Yep, unlocking the infinite banking concept.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that would be your 1-2 punch. Keep it simple. The Family Bank and Becoming Your Own Banker. That's probably the 1-2 punch right there. If you want to learn more about this, the other one that's more of a later read because it gets into all that kind of later in it. But these two will be the main two I would talk about.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, does anyone else have any like last questions or things you want to ask before we wrap up for this evening?
I appreciate you guys, man. This is awesome. It's fun.
Yeah. What a great group.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone's tapped out.
Okay. All right. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to post this one more time in the chat. There's Mondo's link to connect with him to schedule an appointment. Yes, schedule with Mondo. You guys, Mondo is so amazing. And thank you so much for showing up tonight and sharing, educating everyone.
You're
I
welcome.
learn something new seriously every time too, sometimes because there's so many different ways you can utilize these tools.
Yes. Yeah.
I love learning more about this too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
no,
thank you for having me. It's just fun. I enjoy it, and I feel like my voice cleared up while we're talking. So there we go. Thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are just saying thank you so much for your time and knowledge. So
You're
yeah,
welcome.
we all
My pleasure.
appreciate you. And yes, everyone don't sleep on it. Go connect with Mondo and talk to him about your personal stuff and how you guys can move forward. So
There we go.
anyway, oh, really quick, and I was gonna say I've posted this for people that are watching the replay on YouTube or whatever. I'll also post that in the notes, but Mondo's information will forever live in my resources tab on my website too.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
anyone ever forgets and you follow me on Instagram, go to my website. There's a tab resources, and you can always find Mondo and connect with him. So anyway, I'm gonna let everyone go for the night. Mondo, I know you didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm gonna let you go
Nope.
to bed.
Nope.
But yeah, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you for showing up today for yourself and your families, and I commend you. And everyone, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys.
See ya. Take care.
Bye.